I often get emails from people saying, David, please, can you list your personal finance book recommendations? I'm going to give you a bunch of my top picks right here. Remember that you can go to davidpakman.com/recommendations to get my full list of personal finance books, economics books, narrative nonfiction, all sorts of things. But let's look at what I consider to be some of my favorite personal finance books. If you read these 8 or 10 books, you will be ahead of 95% of the population in terms of knowledge of personal finance. First is Just Keep Buying by our friend Nick Majuli. Nick was on the show not long ago. This is a really excellent look at really a lot of the aspects of maintaining the long-term investment strategy, even during market downturns. We talk about this intellectually. Even if the market's down, you stick with it, you keep buying. But the book is really good at making the mathematical case. Don't start selling stocks when the market is down. It also talks a little bit about diversification and asset allocation, and it includes some real world examples. Next book is, and I'm in my Amazon account, you can even see when I bought these. It's proof I really own these books. I bought this one in May of 2020. Ramit Sethi, who is also a friend of the show, his book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. This is also a fantastic book that includes not only practical advice on thinking about your budget, thinking about saving, thinking about increasing income or investing, helps you create a simple personal finance plan. You really don't need to pay an expensive advisor. Includes real world examples as well as case studies. Really good. You can also follow Ramit on TikTok, where he does a lot of really interesting content, as well as Twitter. Next book is by Jacob Lund Fisker. This one is a bit of a different one. This is called Early Retirement Extreme, a philosophical and practical guide to financial independence. The thing about this one is that it's a little more zoomed out about financial independence and early retirement. What's the point? What are we aspiring to? What are the sort of questions that need to be answered now, as well as if and when one becomes financially independent? He does talk about reducing expenses to a degree that is a bit much for me, but is still interesting to think about. Talks about investing wisely, the income side of it. But one of the things I really like about Early Retirement Extreme is it talks about the importance of a fulfilling life outside of work and maybe some practical steps to actually get to that. Bill Perkins wrote a book, controversial among many, called Die with Zero. One of the things that I think is important about all of these books is that they're not books I necessarily say, read it to emulate exactly what is in the book, but it's read it to allow the idea to become a fraction of what you're thinking about. And the big point that Bill Perkins makes is saving, great, but you should really be looking at dying with essentially no money. What's the point of earning money that you will not actually use to better enjoy your life? Now, the obvious counterpoint is, well, to leave money to my heirs. Bill Perkins makes the case, give them the money while you're still alive so that they can enjoy it and you can see them enjoying it, and on and on and on. Die with zero. Get the most you can from your money. I don't know about literally applying everything that Bill says, but it is a really good way to think about what is the point of working and saving, and what is the end goal. Alexander Green wrote a book called Beyond Wealth, The Roadmap to a Rich Life. This is also an excellent book, comprehensive overview of wealth building, practical advice on the link between the financial side and a fulfilling life. And you'll notice a lot of these books, in a sense, are similar in that they're touching on similar general topics: fulfillment, retirement, saving, budgeting, work, etc. But they all do it in a different way. And with Alexander Green's book, there's a lot about values and purpose when it comes to work and money that I think is really, really valuable. J.L. Collins wrote the book, The Simple Path to Wealth. Also excellent. I think the examples that are in J.L. Collins's book are really useful illustrations for people. And this one, maybe I would say it's a little bit more entrepreneur and business oriented in terms of streams of income, but it really would apply to someone with like a regular day job who wants to have some side hustles. I don't think I would skip it just because you're not an entrepreneur. Very much worth reading. One of the more recently popular books, I guess I would say, on the list is Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money. This is a fantastic book, and it's less overtly about the spend and save and invest stuff, but more about the psychological and emotional aspects of money and how they can impact financial decisions in ways that maybe don't make a ton of sense, with some advice related to money biases that many people have. The Millionaire Next Door. This is an older book. This one is now 13 years old, at least. I actually thought it was even older. Maybe this is the latest edition, but it's at least 13 years old. The Millionaire Next Door, The Surprising Secrets of America's Wealthy. The really important message from this one is the people who have sometimes been most successful at building wealth don't display it. And very often you see the $70,000, $80,000 car drive by. You might assume that person is wealthy. They might just be willing to overpay on cars or have a lot of debt. And those are some of the most interesting takeaways from this book. This one's by Thomas Stanley and William Danko. And then lastly, Your Money or Your Life. This book is by Vicky Robin and Joe Dominguez. It is at least from 2008. The latest version is 5 years old. I believe this was written in 2008 originally. 9 steps to transforming your relationship with money and achieving financial independence. It's a little bit self-helpy in a way that the other books on the list are not, but it talks about fulfillment outside of work. It is much more specific in terms of budgeting and planning and reducing expenses and investing wisely. I would genuinely read all of these books. I wouldn't pick and choose, even though there is a lot of overlap between them because they are all written in different styles with slightly different audiences in mind. And if you read these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if you read these 9 books, it's like, I'm not even selling you anything. Read these books. You will be more informed than I would say 19 out of 20 people out there about personal finance and related topics. And you can find more recommendations. You can also get these books through my Amazon links. I guess that's what I'm selling you. If you buy these through our Amazon links, we get a little bit of a cut. Find them at davidpakman.com/recommendations.